So today we are going to be doing another draw with me. I just wanted to keep this week's upload simple because school is starting next week. And I have to admit, I haven't really touched my sketchbooks in a long time since I started painting on canvases more recently. But I have been wanting to get back into drawing portraits with pencil, so I guess that this is the first step. It's pretty daunting when you look at a fresh, clean page, but I don't think I'll ever get over that fear of messing up in a sketchbook. But then again, I always have to remind myself that it's my sketchbook to mess up in, and I also have to remember that this is my safe space and I'm free to do whatever I want in it. Do whatever you want in your sketchbook, okay? If you make a mistake, if you mess up, do what you want with that mistake. You can either cover it up or still work on it, or you can even tear the pages. This sketchbook is yours to use. There are no rules. It took me a long time for me to realize that, and instead of tearing pages that I hated, I clipped in the pages so that I wouldn't have to look at them anymore, and it wouldn't feel like I have to abandon the sketchbook after I messed up in it. I am doing two portraits today, the first being the side profile of a man because I think I wanted a little bit of a challenge. I'm gonna be straight up and say that I'm much more comfortable with drawing girls. I think it's just because I grew up watching Disney princesses and Barbie, so naturally I've studied the way women look way more than I have men. But since I wanted to get into portraits again, I thought why not give myself a challenge? So like I said, I haven't touched my pencil and sketchbook in a very, very long time. So this first drawing is going to be really, really rough because I'm still trying to get into the feel of it all and remind myself how to go about portraits and all of that jazz. Oh, and if you're wondering why I'm using a mechanical pencil in the first place, it's because I prefer crisp and clean lines. Obviously, I'm struggling with that now, but with my past portraits, I remember clearly loving mechanical pencils over the regular ones. Plus, with the regular ones, you always have to sharpen them, and it honestly can get super duper annoying very fast. So what I usually do with portraits is I actually work on the shadows first, meaning the darkest parts of the face, and this might include the underside of the neck, the eye bags, the forehead, the hair even. It all depends on your reference image, but I always go from darkest to lightest, and I think it's just because it makes things a lot less confusing. It just helps me understand how light hits the face better, but obviously you don't have to follow this. I think it's just been out of habit for me and I'm more used to this, so yeah. Looking at the finished product right now, I think I could have done a whole lot better if I had been more intentional with the lines and I had paid more attention to the highlights. But considering it was my first try in a long time, I think it was pretty decent. But I do wish that I had remembered to buy new lead for my mechanical pencil because now for the next drawing, I have to use the regular pencils, and you guys already know that I don't like regular pencils, so yay! For this next drawing, I decided to do a girl instead of a guy because after drawing a guy, I figured that I probably shouldn't be challenging myself, especially when I'm starting out again. So I decided to do something I'm more comfortable with. But then again, it was with a regular pencil and they annoy me so much. I'm just sketching out the dimensions of the drawing, and this is just for me to be 100% sure that the proportions are correct and that I'm putting details in the right areas. Here's a tip for you guys who are struggling with proportions. I find that what works for me is drawing a very general shape of the object that you are drawing. So, for example, in this drawing, I have drawn out the bangs to kind of look like rectangles, and that is because bangs kind of look like rectangles. So I don't know how to explain it, but basically try to find shapes in your reference image and draw them out next to each other, however they interact in the image. It's definitely going to help a lot, and I actually found this tip in a video, so if I find the link back to that video, I will definitely put it in the description, or I'll leave a card here. You can just click on it, and yeah. But I just wanted to tell you guys what has worked for me and what has actually helped me in drawing. So yeah. Honestly, looking back on this recording, I can tell that I definitely didn't have a lot of confidence when I drew this. Most of my wrist action only came from my wrist, and it didn't come from my arm or anything, and I kind of hope that I can work on that. If you don't know, when you move your arm, you can get a lot more movement in your drawing, and it can look like you have more confidence and more assuredness when you draw. And I just hope that I can get to that point again, because right now it's just my wrist moving, and yeah, it might not seem like much, but it actually is like kind of a big deal to me. Not really a big deal, but I just like to improve on that. And now comes the fun part, which is the hair. It's a pretty well-known thing that hair is pretty hard to replicate with pencil, especially when you're a beginner at drawing. So it may come to no surprise to you that I also struggle with this. I used to be so scared of drawing hair that I would draw the general shape of the hair, but I wouldn't do anything to it. So it would just be a white block on a person. It wasn't it. When I did draw hair, I would draw it in such a way that there were no varied lines, so it looks very unnatural, and I'm just really glad that I actually started to take up this challenge and try to draw hair properly. This exercise did kind of help me a little bit, because now I remember how to kind of replicate the look of hair. I'm not saying I did it perfectly, but it's a lot better than no varied lines and no shadows and no highlights. Now, as this video is coming to a close, I'm about to say some super duper YouTuber stuff, and if you don't like that, you can click off now. But yes, if you did enjoy the video, please leave a like and subscribe if you're new, and click the notification bell so that you get updated for every new video. And I also hope that you actually got to do something productive maybe while you're listening to this, or while you're watching. I don't know what you're doing right now, but I hope you are having the best day. And yeah, probably no one is gonna comment, but you know what? Just leave a compliment for someone. Anyone who might come across your comment, just leave a comment for them. You know, make their day. Do something nice with your words. Yeah, okay, that was very random, but okay. Yeah, I hope you enjoyed the video, and I hope you have the best day ever. I'll see you guys next time. Bye!